So this video is going to be about Scottish independence, if that's what you want to call it. I believe, and I've seen a video from a person who believed that Scotland should not be separate from the United Kingdom. And I agree. I don't think we should be separate from the Union. I'm not political. I don't normally comment on any political videos or anything like that, but I just don't see the point in splitting up this union we have with the rest of the UK. So, from what I've heard, the SNP Yes campaign advocate for an independent Scotland to be a member of the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organisation, which is a nuclear alliance, so it kind of defeats the purpose of them banging on about let's lose nuclear weapons, let's do this, do that. Fundamentally, this is down to economic, social and political security. And economic security, I mean, as a large economy within the European Union, within the world, surely that means we can swerve economic downturn more safely than smaller countries. I know for a fact that smaller countries do take a bigger impact. Not all. I'm not saying all of them do. I mean, I'm not saying Denmark do or any country like that. But the difference between the countries like Norway, Denmark, Scotland, etc., is they're not like Scotland. They're nothing like Scotland. They've not got a heavy financial industry built into the core foundations of their economic output, because Scotland is entwined within the UK, and even if independent, there is going to be a lot of financial assets, liabilities that Scotland's still going to have to take on. And if there is another recession, this is supposed to be a triple dip, supposedly could, then I don't see how separation would give us security or prosperity. I mean, people say we can be like Norway, but Norway has 10 times the oil as Scotland. Norway's economy is double the size of Scotland's. Norway has an oil fund. It has had it for decades. Scotland doesn't have an oil fund, and Scotland's oil revenue is a fraction of Norway's as well. Norway's living standards are high, yes, true. Therefore, their products are higher. They may look higher for the average European, but to them, and their wages isn't that high. And then we have the social security of the Union. I think people often get confused between devolution and separation, independence, whatever you want to call it. These things we have now under devolution, like free tuition, they aren't secured under independence. They just aren't. They're what we call luxuries within devolution, and in the devolution settlement of a devolved Parliament that doesn't have to take on the huge vast responsibilities that an independent Scottish government would have to take on. I mean, Scotland does get the best. I think Scotland does get the best of both worlds in regard to having the social security of the Union, which is devolution. I mean, people often say, oh, the Scottish Parliaments gave us this and the Scottish Parliaments gave us that, so let's be independent because the Scottish Parliament's done that. Well, no, devolution's done that, and that's a United Kingdom output. Yes, it might be a SNP policy, but remember, without devolution and without the luxury of having a United Kingdom economy and a devolved Parliament, would those things be sustainable? No, they wouldn't. They just wouldn't be. And even when we take into account oil revenue into Scotland's into Scotland, we can see that it still makes a 10.7 billion deficit. And compared to the UK and other countries, it may not be that big, but is it really worth the risk of the security we have to go alone? I think right now we experience the best of both worlds, and because of that we should surely stay in the Union. I have seen no viable case for separating Scotland out of the Union. Yes, there is I think nationalist mentality is more heart than head. It's more, let's just go for it. And if that's their mentality, then good for them. But I want what's best for Scotland, and my country is the United Kingdom, and I see myself as British, and therefore I want to keep the Union. I can see its benefits. I can see that we're better off as one, and to give that up would be just a terrible, terrible shame. So okay, if you're saying to yourself, should Scotland be independent? Well, that's not for any one single person to decide. That's for people living in Scotland to decide. But for me, I'd say no. I'd say that this whole prospect of just jumping into a union with Europe, being a smaller country, doesn't sound very appealing to me, and I don't think it's going to sound appealing to other people either. So thanks for listening. This is just a video I've put up randomly. I've been following the debate for a few months now. Okay, thanks.